Good morning, good evening, good night. EagleMMA Family. These are UFC 311 predictions based off who's more alpha. Alright, so if you don't know, UFC 311 Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan is taking place this Saturday, January 18th. It is a massive card. You know what else is massive? The low paper fade meme, the Eagre wheelchair meme. This card has 14 fights on it. I will be breaking down every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim, ending with the main event, predicting it off of who's more alpha. It's a new standard I have for picking fights. Every single fight I've ever seen, the more alpha fighter comes out on top, no matter what. So we're going to run through it, starting with the first fight on the card. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. I have Ulanbekov by a second round submission. Clayton Carpenter is just nothing special, right? I get he's undefeated. Oh, he submitted fucking bums that nobody knows about. He was fighting an LFA. Really, who cares about that? It's what happens in the UFC. And Tagir Ulanbekov is one of those crafty vets that just always seems to get something done. He is very good specifically against up-and-coming prospects. We saw this with another fighter in Christian Rodriguez. There are certain fighters that just do better against up-and-coming prospects. Like, Tagir Ulanbekov would never be able to beat a ranked fighter in his life, but if there is an up-and-coming, undefeated prospect, he is going to beat them. He's got really slick submissions. I think he'll tire out Clayton Carpenter a little bit, get him frustrated, make him do something he doesn't want to do, and latch up a front choke, maybe an anaconda or a guillotine. But the next fight on the card at bantamweight is Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sorpai. I really like this matchmaking. Bernardo Sorpai obviously got fucking flying kneed into oblivion and got sent to the shadow realm, but that fight was still entertaining from his perspective as well. He wasn't making that a boring fight. And Ricky Turcios, he has his moments, right? He's a bit of a fucking nutcase, to be honest. So I do have Ricky Turcios by decision. I think, Bernardo Sorpai is just not going to be nearly as confident just with a brutal finish like that. And someone like Ricky Turcios is just gonna like lay him Bram. He's honestly just gonna fucking lay him Bram, keep him at range with his kicks and everything. He's got really snappy kicks. Bernardo Sorpai, I don't really think deals well with that. We saw that with the Vinicius Oliveira fight. He was getting his legs kicked out and everything. So I got Turcios by decision. Next up on the card, this is really fucking good matchmaking. I love the UFC at the moment right now because they make fights like this. Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafurov. If anybody doesn't know who Rinya Nakamura is, this guy won the Road to UFC tournament. It was like an Asian tournament that they do like every year. He's really fucking good. He's got some of the most brutal knockouts ever in the Road to UFC and the UFC itself, and just had a wrestling decision win over Carlos Vera and Fernie Garcia because he is a wrestling base. He's a wrestling base with fucking heavy stone hands, and he's against Muin Gafurov. Muin Gafurov to me is just nothing special. Submitted by Saeed Nurmagomedov by guillotine. Not the worst, but then a decision loss to John Castaneda. That's really the main focus here. And Rinya Nakamura can knock out anybody. Muin Gafurov is a swinger. He swings for the fucking fences. There is going to be a massive exchange. You know what else is massive? That Eagre wheelchair meme. I got Nakamura by first round KO. Next up on the card is honestly my favorite part on the card. Carol Rosa versus my girl, Ailin Perez. You know I got Ailin Perez by booty smothering decision. Cake is going to tire out Carol Rosa. All that weight, that fucking dump truck is going to be sitting right on top of her. Listen, do I wish I was Carol Rosa? I'm not going to say that because maybe I do, maybe I don't. No, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because Ailin Perez is a baddie. She's a strong, independent woman. She twerks, and that's pretty cool, I guess. So I got her by decision. Not a lot of thought goes into these fucking women's picks. Next up on the card is a fight that just got put on here. A short notice fight. Zach Reese versus Azamat Bekoyev. I got Reese by decision. I think this last minute switch up is kind of going to throw him off. It's going to make him not really as confident in his abilities. And Azamat Bekoyev, I mean, you look at this fucking dude's record, it's really nothing special. He's 18-3, and his fifth most recent fight is an 0-0. A professional MMA debutante. 0-0 when you're 12-3. That's pretty fucking bad. It means your team is not really confident in you. So I have Zach Reese by decision. And next up on this card might actually be my favorite fight on this entire card, except for the feature fight, I believe it is. Grant Dawson versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. I have Carlos Diego Ferreira by first round fucking kill. I'm just going to call him Carlos because I'm not going to fucking say his whole name every time. But Grant Dawson has a glass shin. If Bobby Green, sorry, dead named him, King Green is knocking you out in the first fucking 30 seconds with just one, like, switch stance left hand, bro, Carlos de Guevara is gonna fucking flatline you. And he has the wrestling and defensive capabilities to keep Grant Dawson off of him. Even if it goes to the ground, Carlos can, scramble and get on top of Grant Dawson and land his own ground and pound, get his own submissions. I do think it's going to be a war, like a war on the feet. It's going to be a lot of boxing exchanges. So I have for him like a big overhand knockout in the first round. Next up on the card is another short notice replacement for sipping Johnny Walker. Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Alekana. I have Guskov by first round KO, obviously. I was already probably going to pick Bogdan by first round KO against Johnny Walker, sipping Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with Dana White. But Billy Alekana, I mean, it's just a dumb name. And really, I mean, it's a fucking... what do you want me to say about this, dude? It's fucking Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Alekana. Like, do you really want me to give, like, a fucking detailed breakdown of that shit? No one really cares about that. Next up on the card, though, is a pretty, substantial heavyweight fight for the current, situation at heavyweight. Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. I have Almeida by a second round ground and pound TKO. I think the first round is going to be so incredibly boring. Sergey Spivak might edge it out. He might edge out the round, just barely outstriking him, landing like a couple more jabs, getting a little bit more control time. But I think Jailton Almeida is going to get him on the ground in that second round and just get on top of him and start beating the shit out of him. It's going to be called for a ground and pound TKO. Sergey Spivak dude, he got fucking destroyed, getting destroyed by Gon. Like, destroyed by Cyril Gane is fucking crazy. Like, Cyril Gane doesn't destroy anybody on the feet. So I'm confident that Jailton Almeida isn't going to knock him out or anything, but he's going to be able to kind of keep the distance. He's going to be able to not really, withstand danger that much. I have him by second round ground and pound TKO. And the next fight on the card, this is matchmaking that I'm really pissed at, honestly, because I kind of hate that they're fucking doing this with Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot versus Raoni Barcelos. My problem with this fight is, why is Peyton Talbot fighting Cameron Simon, then Giannis Gamura, and now Raoni Barcelos? Cameron Simon was a great matchup. That was a really fucking good matchup. Giannis Gamura was literally just a fucking layup by the UFC. Like, just a pointless fucking fight. We knew everyone, like, the odds on that fight were fucking crazy. Peyton Talbot first round KO. And Raoni Barcelos it should be a massive fucking underdog, dude. And he is. He's a huge underdog. Plus 775. Peyton Talbot is a minus 1400. And it shows because Raoni Barcelos is 37 years old. He's 37 years old. He got beat by Kyler Phillips. He was getting rocked by Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips wasn't even hurting Rob Font, dude. Like, Kyler Phillips' ass got flatlined by Umar. Like, this dude fucking sucks. And he's old. And he's slow. They're going to exchange. And Peyton Talbot is going to fucking flatline him out cold with like a 1-2. I can absolutely see it. Right now, we get onto the main card. With the first fight on the main card, Kevin Holland versus Reiner de Ridder. This is actually another matchup that I really, really like. It's a fun matchup. We know Reiner de Ridder is not going to be anything special. He literally went fucking life and death. He went life or fucking death with GM3. Like, this dude's not gonna be anything fucking special, so give him just these like really fun, entertaining matchups. And I have Kevin Holland by second round KO. This is a very 50-50 fight because Kevin Holland can be a pretty big fucking beta crybaby sometimes. He could be a pretty fucking beta crybaby, but Reiner de Ridder just does not strike me as some fucking Giga Chad alpha male. Kevin Holland is black. He's from the hood. He sips fucking, Johnny Walker. He sips Henny and Lean. He smokes that green. He racks them blues and shit. Know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of like it's like a YN type of energy. It translates into alpha energy. Reiner de Ridder, what the fuck does he do? His name, it looks like it says reindeer. It's a dumb fucking name. RDR is a terrible fucking nickname. And the way he fights in the cage, too, is pretty fucking beta. So I have Kevin Holland by second round KO, just purely off of his alpha YN energy. And next up on the card, another matchup that I think is hilarious. I think it's a hilarious matchup. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. I have Dariush decision. Always pick Dariush decision. Listen, Moicano this, Moicano that. I don't give a fuck. If Moicano is 10-8ing Benoit Saint-Denis in the first round, beating the shit out of him, and in the second round, Benoit gets stood up and starts beating the shit out of Moicano, and that fight only got stopped because of a doctor stoppage, because of like a cut over Benoit Saint-Denis' eye. BSD literally would have fucking knocked out Moicano in that fight if the doctors didn't call it, which fair play, you know, the doctors did call it, but that is like so beta. How are you absolutely fucking dominating a fight? Fucking, like, literally, you could have called that fight on the ground like 2 separate times, and then you immediately, it comes back to the feet, and you're just like a deer on the headlights. You're like, oh. He was also getting fucked up by Drew Dober on the feet. He has terrible striking. He has terrible... I have had people come into my fucking live streams go, Moicano actually has a decent jab. He has a pretty okay calf kick. Are you out of your fucking, like, are you out of your fucking mind? Have you watched Moicano strike? Listen, Moicano is fucking hilarious. He's fucking hilarious. His striking is so shit, dude. It's so fucking bad, dude. Put him next to, like, a fucking glory kickboxer. It's gonna look like he's a fucking, like, a 12-year-old who just took up fucking jujitsu, dude. He looks so fucking shit on the feet. And the only, you know, thing I have about this is technically he could KO Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush's chin is not like it was before. But Beneil Dariush is a fucking giga chat. He is a Christian Assyrian who shouted out Christ in a majority Muslim crowd. And not only that, but he has a thick Asian mommy on his side. A thick Asian mommy. Dude, Asian women do not just get with any fucking hunk of meat, bro. They need a fucking strong man. I know this because I live in California. The amount of Asians here is kind of a little baffling. You know, it's pretty fucking insane. Literally everyone you look at is like, what the fuck? I thought this was California. But to secure that bag, and a thick one at that, you have to be on a different level of dad alpha energy. I got Dariush by decision, and he honestly could TKO Moicano in the 2nd or 3rd round with ground and pound. I would not put it past him. And next up, the feature fight. This is for real. Like, actually, now that I think about it, this is for real my favorite fucking fight on the card. I love this matchup. I've wanted this matchup to happen since, like, Jamal Hill fucking beat Thiago Santos, dude. This is a great matchup. Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill is going to put Yuri in a coma, dude. You think that fucking Alex Pereira knockout was disgusting? Jamal Hill is going to fucking kill him, dude. He is going to kill Yuri. Yuri's chin is gone now. He was getting fucked up by Rakic, dude. Alexander Rakic was fucking up Yuri Prochazka on the feet with, you know, strikes up top and leg kicks. Do I need to remind everyone that Jamal Hill has some of the best leg kicks in the UFC right now? He was going toe-to-toe with the leg kicks with Alex Pereira. And he has that alpha YN crazy jit energy. He literally makes hood fucking TikToks of, like, shooting a gun in his neighborhood to keep the rent down. That's a different level of fucking alpha. You know, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do what I want type of fucking shit. Yuri Prochazka just has nothing, too. Jamal Hill lands, like, one clean fucking hook. It's over for Yuri. And those leg kicks are going to be a big factor. As well as the head kicks, dude. If you think Jamal Hill has good leg kicks, his head kicks are really fucking good. And he has a very good underrated clinch game, too. Jamal has a really underutilized fucking clinch game. Whenever he gets into the clinch, he has very good Muay Thai, very good knees to the body, into the head. So if that distance is broke, he can just clinch up with Yuri and fucking knee him, because Yuri has no defense in the clinch whatsoever. Obviously, it's a Yuri fight, so it could go fucking either way. But I have Hill by, like, a pretty confident first round KO, and it's going to be brutal. It's going to be a KO of the fucking year. Now we get to the co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. This is so fucking easy, dude. Merab all the fucking way. I hate this Umar fucking Glaze bullshit, dude. First of all, in terms of alpha energy, Merab is just a fucking giga chat. He rizzed up Nino Drama. He rizzes up everything. He rizzes up his fucking cousins. What? Pause. He rizzes up his fucking literal cousins, his blood-related cousins. If you don't think that's fucking alpha, I don't know what you think. And Umar pulls out of fights for fucking scrapes on his knee because he tripped in his cave. Merab by decision, easy. And here's the one thing I'm going to say about this is, unfortunately, it's going to be a very competitive decision because Umar does have a legit style to beat Merab Dvalishvili. He has good enough striking to capitalize on these moments and good enough grappling to kind of maybe, you know, defend a lot of Merab's offense. You know, either way, I think it's going to be a pretty competitive, boring decision in terms of Merab. And we get on to the main event. This one might have been the easiest pick of all time. This might have been my easiest prediction of all time. Arman Tsarukyan versus Islam Makhachev. Now, I am not the one to say that Islam Makhachev is a beta because he's one of the biggest alphas I've ever seen. The way he mocks DC for being fat is the fucking funniest shit ever. Literally, DC will be like, you know, Islam, I really don't think your career is going going that well. I think you should, you know, take some time off, or, you know, I think in terms of legacy, you're maybe the third greatest lightweight of all time. And he goes, brother, like, do you see why you say this? Like, brother, like, you're like a fat guy, brother. Like, you eat like too much food. Like, maybe you come to my camp and like my kids beat you, brother. Like, he literally just fucking denies all criticism and just immediately goes to personal attacks. That's crazy fucking alpha, like, legit nutcase energy. But it does not stand anywhere near the flexibility of Arman's hips. Now, I have been glazing Arman's hips for 10 years at this point. It feels like, you know, ever since I've watched Arman fight in the UFC, I've just noticed how flexible his hips are. And it takes the biggest fucking GigaChad alpha to do any yoga at all, because it's a very feminine act, right? Yoga is a feminine act. So you have to be a fucking alpha. And not only that, you have to be a fucking alpha to do that. And he has, like really nice eyebrows, too. Like, he's very well groomed. He's crazy jacked. You know, he probably smells really good, too. I bet he's got, like, you know, like a six-pack or something. You know, he's probably a really nice guy as well. And listen, to have all that, you have to be a big fucking alpha. You have to be one of the craziest alphas ever. The main thing I'm harping on is the flexibility of his hips. I have him by decision, by, like, a, you know, 48-47. I think it's going to be relatively close. But it's going to be clear that it's an Arman Tsarukyan win. They might try to rob him because he's too handsome, because his eyebrows are too beautiful and bushy, and just, you could just get lost in his eyes. You know, he probably smells, you know, he probably, like, when you smell Arman Tsarukyan's cologne, you kind of just, like, float up like a cartoon character smelling a pie or something. So I'm getting off track here, but Arman Tsarukyan, easy decision win. You know, in terms of grappling, he can out-grapple Islam. We saw Alexander Volkanovski was doing very well in the grappling with Islam. And I used to pick Islam Makhachev to win this fight. And as soon as he fought Dustin Poirier and showed how fucking shit of a performance that was, I immediately switched my pick to Arman Tsarukyan. The only reason I'm doing this is because of his fucking fight with Dustin Poirier. It was such a pathetic fight. The fact that Dustin Poirier is going toe-to-toe in the grappling and the striking with you at this point, mainly the grappling, but, like, dude, Dustin Poirier, not only is he just like, oh, he's washed or whatever, he literally has no fucking hips. Every single time I bring up Dustin Poirier, I bring up this fucking Joe Rogan clip of Dustin Poirier on the Joe Rogan Experience talking about his hips. He literally was told by a doctor, by a clinical doctor, that he had the hips of a 90-year-old grandma with fucking arthritis. And he's like 30-something and a professional fighter. Your entire grappling ability is in your hip strength. Colby Covington will tell you that. So in terms of hip strength, Arman Tsarukyan's flexible, durable hips just absolutely clear the fucking water with Dustin Poirier's grandma hips. That's the main reason I'm picking Tsarukyan by decision. But thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Join my memberships. $5 a month for a crazy amount of content. Live streams, videos, shorts. You know, do all the other shit too, you know, fucking join my topology, right? Join my topology. The top 5 winners of every topology get shown in the first clip of my weekly Eagre news for all UFC recaps. Thank you all for watching. You know, if you guys have any differing opinions with my predictions, let me know down below. Let me know if you like Arman's flexible hips. Listen, real ones, if you're still watching the video to this point, I want you to comment on the pinned comment something about Arman's flexible hips, because his hips are very flexible, and I really I'm proud of how flexible his hips are. I'm really it's promising. It's very promising. So thank you all for watching. EagleMMA out.
Hey, Young Lean. Are you Young Lean?
What?
Are you Young Lean?
No, I'm Barry Dillon.